we go.
There we go.
Good evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. It is officially the last Tuesday of the month. Believe it or not, we are going into June. I don't know about you, but I feel like maybe since being in a book club, I feel like suddenly the time is going by faster. I feel like we just did one of these, and
Yes and no.
it's June. Like, it's June. When did that happen? I think in the last live we did was reading sprints, and I think I said that too. I said I'm still in January. Like, I'm not in June yet. So it's crazy. But it is the end of May, so it's the last Tuesday of the month, which means we are going to be doing our live discussion of our May book, which was Laura's birthday pick. And that was, or is, A Fine Romance, Falling in Love with the English Countryside by Susan Branch. So we read this lovely travel memoir, kind of like diary journal, in the month of May. So if you're joining us and you would like to chat with us about that, please feel free to let us know you're here in the comments. Looks like Andy's here. Welcome, welcome. Good evening to yourself as well. So, Laura, your birthday book.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited that we all read it? I mean, you read it, I think, all in the reading sprints, right?
I read like half before earlier in the day and then the other half during reading sprints. Yeah. Pretty much. So, yeah. I'm glad to have finally read it. You know, it's one of those rainy day books. Like, all of her stuff is for me. It's a rainy day thing. I keep it for something like special or when I really want a treat or whatever. And I thought, oh, screw it. Let's just do this.
Yeah, so we, for most of us who did read that, I think it fell into the month plan really well too, because of all of the rain that they talk about and just the spring flowers, and then, you know, it kind of goes into June a little bit, but I think it was like perfect timing for this book. So thank you for leading us into this direction.
Absolutely. I really hope everybody liked it. Yeah. If they didn't like it, they found something new and they enjoyed the different experience, you know.
Right. Before we jump into our live discussion, I just want to remind everybody what the June book is. And I hope I wrote this right, because I think I say it in my head one way and then, yeah. So it's Gideon the Ninth, or is it Gideon and the Ninth?
No, just Gideon the Ninth. You're right.
Okay, because when I think when I say it in my head, I'm always Gideon and the Ninth. I don't know why, but Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin. I think it's Muir. So that's our June book. I'm thinking I'm gonna get it in the format in the audio format, because I'm on a Libby hold, but it's only one. I'm the first one in line, so I should get it sometime in the month of June. So hopefully that will work out for me. Otherwise, I'll just have to find it somewhere else. So Andy mentions this is not a book I would ever look at twice as my kind of book, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
It's really fun, and I want to pick up some of her others.
That's great. Nice. I'm so happy, Andy. That's awesome. Thank you. Yay.
The nice thing too about like finding other books, I really like how on the back it has like a whole bunch of her other books that she has available. But then also if you go to her website, which is like blog style, lots of options there as well. And her website is set up like very much how she writes in her books. So it's very like handmade, handwritten, that kind of thing. So I'm a few chapters in the beginning. Wow, there's a lot going on.
Okay.
Didn't you say you just read a review, or you saw a review that was saying a similar thing, like a lot goes on in the beginning?
Yeah, someone, I've only heard positive things about Gideon from a lot of people, like all different things, all different places, all different kinds of readers. But someone just said that she had heard, like her opinion of it, what she had heard around the interwebs, is that like it was very complicated and like not info junkie, but just a lot going on. And I hadn't heard that before. I just heard about how readable and how obsessed people got with the book, and they really felt propelled to keep reading and keep with the series too. So I was sort of surprised to hear that. But if Andy thinks it too, then it must be right, because Andy knows everything.
She does.
She does.
We very much appreciate your input there. Okay. Oop. I'm clicking the wrong things here. Okay. So let's jump back into our fine romance and do what we always do, and that's we rate the book. So out of 1 to 5, 5 being amazing, what was your rating of Susan Branch's book for us this month?
I'm giving it a 4.5, but rounding it up to 5 for Goodreads' sake, because like I know I love her stuff. I've wanted to go to England since I was a little kid. I like her style very much. I just thought it was charming. I was a little bummed that the first, it seemed like, third of the book was just on the Queen Mary, which I would love to take that across too. So it was interesting, but I also just wanted her to like get to England already. Like, I don't care about the ship. Can we just go there? So I really liked it. I had a good time, and I'm glad that I have it under my belt. And I feel also a little more prepared for my whenever trip to England, whenever the heck that happens, whatever decade of my life that is. I don't know, but I have some places narrowed down. I think that I'd like to visit more than others. So that sort of helped in that regard too. So yeah, 4.5, rounded up to 5. What did you think?
So I'm giving it 4 stars, and I kept thinking to myself, like, I really should give this book a 5 stars. But then I was like, but I shouldn't have to feel that way.
Right,
like,
no.
I just was like, no, it feels like a 4. And the thing is like, I liked it. I thought it was really charming. I've never read anything like this before. So like for me, like all of like the handwritten stuff, like everything was so charming. Like it was cozy, and I felt like I was there with her a lot of the time. And from what I recall, like I didn't do when I went abroad, I've been to England twice, but I have only been to London within England. Outside of England, I've been to Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. And in Scotland, I was more in like the Highlands and everything on certain days. So like I was able to get the countryside in that respect. But like, so for England, like all of this was new for me, which was nice. But the reason why I can't quite give it a 5 is because I felt like a lot of times, like she would like, we'd be ready to do something, and then all of a sudden it was switched to something else. I'm like, no, I wanted to hear about that. Like, why did you just like change it up? Or it's like the next day suddenly. And I was like, no. And in my mind, I'm like, I know how that is. It's like you think you're going to do something and then you end up not. And especially for like journal writing, like I am the worst. Like I have tried journals so many times in my life, and I am just not, like, you'd see months between writing. So I totally get that. But like when you were going to publish something, I'm just like, why did we just turn the page and it's completely a different day? Like what happened for the rest of that day? Like, so, cause I'm thinking like novel wise, like I want the whole story. I don't want just the bits and pieces. So that's the only reason why I kind of, didn't give it 5 stars. But beside that, like I thought it was a lovely book. I really liked all of the illustrations. I definitely wanted more pictures, but this is someone's life. Like I'm not expecting her to put her entire, travel personal photos in here. So I wasn't like, you need more photos. Like I was just like, I wanted them, but I understood like this is her personal life. But I did love everything she put in there. And I thought it was very charming. I definitely am going to try my darndest to do this myself next time I travel, because like this is just the most, like, how lovely to have something like this as your like souvenir, so to speak, and not just like, because I sometimes will do scrapbooks, but I don't go to this length. I just tape a few pictures in the book. But to actually have like what you were feeling and what you ate and what you did and where you went, and like that was really nice. Like I really did like that. a lot. Yeah, at the beginning, she really was on that ship for a long time. But I also feel like we didn't really learn a lot from the ship either. So, like, you're kind of right there, like, why were we there for so long? But anywho, and then the 12 suitcases.
I was so surprised by it.
What are you talking about?
Why would you bring a kettle? It's England. Don't they have kettles everywhere?
I know.
Like,
What is happening? Okay, so I don't want to get too off. We're just rating right now. So yes, I did 4 stars, but I just felt like I couldn't leap to 5 just because like it just didn't feel right. That's the only thing I can explain. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It didn't feel like a 5 to me. Let's see here. Andy gave it a 4.25.
Excellent.
Really felt like I went on the trip with her in parts. Really charming, perfect word for it. I meant to copy some of the recipes before I returned to the library if I got. My guess is she may have those recipes on our website.
Yeah, if not, I can photograph something and put it on Voxer.
Yeah.
I
know I took some pictures. I took some pictures of certain things, like when she kept talking about like books that she recommended or should read. I was like going into Goodreads and like wanting to read a bunch of them. Some of them I had already read, but and then the part where she has like the little enclosure with like movies you should watch, I took a picture. I have a quilting blog online. That's bits of my life too. That is my journal.
Nice.
That's amazing. We're gonna have to find that.
That's amazing, Andy.
When I traveled to Norway, I kept a paper journal with pictures, and it's fun to look back. So much. I brought a journal specifically for my trip when I went the first time to England because I was like, I'm gonna be so moved by everything that I'm just gonna want to make sure that I write all of this down. Can I tell you, not a single letter, not a single iota of breath. I don't even think I opened the journal. That's how bad I am.
Right. No, I think because when you talked about your trip and stuff, you had like no downtime at all. It was like doing things, seeing someone, having dinner, doing this. It seemed like you were so busy. Like when could you have?
This is the first time I went, which is when I was with my brother, but and we had a lot of downtime, but I can tell you, we were a lot of drunk too, so
that would kind of some time.
That didn't help much. But yes, no, the second time, we were constantly moving. But I mean, when you look back too, like there were times that I probably could have done something, but you're just so tired. You're just like, yes, did we sit on a train for 8 hours? Yes, but did I want to do anything like that? No, I didn't. Oh, sorry. I think I'm freezing. Oh, there we go. Smart. I am old and everything to take pictures. Always think copies. Yeah. I just with my phone just was taking random pictures of the book a couple of times because I was like, oh, I want to know that. Oh, I want to do that. I didn't think to take any pictures of the recipes just because I was like, I'm never going to make any of this stuff. In fact, I read the first recipe and then I was like, what am I doing? Why am I reading a recipe? And then, so I didn't read any of the other ones. I'm like that in books. Like sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to read this. But anywho. Okay, so typically we like go into like overall thoughts, but a lot of times that just like makes us talk about everything that we are going to talk about in all the questions. So I'm just going to jump right into like random questions. We kind of talked about them all the way already, but here we go. So, what did you think about the style of the book?
I mean, I love it. I think makes the whole experience feel more personal, charming, of course. But it really feels like a friend is lending you their journal and they're like, here, catch up on my trip I just got back from. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. Like you get the whole story seemingly. And that's why I love her stuff. I just like the whole thing.
The whole time I was reading it, I just was like, wow, she is so talented. Like all of the watercolors and everything, I just was like, I can't believe that she did all this. And then I think too of like all of the lettering, like the lettering that is like watercolored, like that's her like doing the lettering. And I was just very impressed like the whole way through. Every time some new picture, like specifically I don't know exactly where it is, maybe I can find it, but it was like bordered of all like these seagulls. And I was just like, this is such a lovely page. Like, I thought I was gonna be able to find it. I must have gone too far. But yeah, like just overall, like every time there was like a big watercolor, I was just so impressed. And even when she was like doing people and stuff, I was like, wow, she is extremely talented. And I really liked like all like of the photos. And then half the time I kept thinking like, how does someone publish something like this? Like, how does this go from like taped in photos to like being able to be printed on a page? I'm like, I want to do that. Like, maybe from own personal use or whatever, but like, I'm like, how did they get these photos in there like that? I mean, how did they get this in there like that? I mean, it was really, the whole time I was reading, I was like, this is so interesting. I've never seen anything like this. Oh, here it is. So this page where it's the whole, I loved this page. It's like, that is just like, I mean, she's so talented. Like, I wonder, do you know, has she illustrated any children's books or anything like that?
I think there's a couple. The ones I've read are part of her memoirs. This is one of the, I think, 3 or 4. And then she has, I think she has a book on all 4 seasons. So the one I have read the most that I own is Summer. So it's got like summer memories, summer recipes, like the best picnic sandwich is a bologna sandwich on like Wonder Bread, white bread with iceberg lettuce and mustard and mayonnaise. You have to have potato salad, and it has to be the mayo potato salad, like not a vinegar one, you know. So she does that kind of stuff, and she'll make like a playlist of things for a car ride and about taking road trips. And I mean, so she's got that. She's got quite a few books about Christmas. She has a few kind of gifty kind of books, one for graduation, I think one for new babies, maybe like a kid's book about Christmas, I think too. Yeah, she's got quite a bit.
Yeah, I thought she did a nice job. I liked it.
Yeah.
Something different. Sorry. Okay. Andy said there was a lemon cookies or something. Yeah. So if you want to find that one,
I will look for it.
Really enjoyed it. Fast page turner. And she is so skilled. She sketched inside places they could not take pics. I know when she was saying, when she walked into Beatrix Potter's cottage and she was like, oh, we can't take pictures, but I have my sketchbook. I was like, what? And then like to turn the page, and she made a little sketch of like the bed and everything. I was just like,
the detail on that helmet was just incredible. Like, how did you just whip this out?
Yeah, page 139 for the lemon cookies.
Thank you.
But yeah, I may pick one up for my best friend on her birthday. I think she would love these too. Yes. If you look, so I'm just going to share my screen real quick, and for her website. So the page that I have it right now is the appendix. So this is for A Fine Romance. So here is where you would find all of those, like in the book where we saw like where things were starred. This is where you can kind of find a lot of those items. And you kind of just scroll down. Like I said, it's like blog style, so you just keep scrolling. But it has by page numbers, so they have a lot of those things here, and then they're all like links. So you can do that. But if we go back to the main blog, on the side, oh, there we go. You can see like she has inspirational quotes. There's like the recipe books that you mentioned. You can actually get signed copies of A Fine Romance. Nice. She has her Martha Vineyard book, which that I'm pretty interested in, just because whenever she would kind of refer back to being at home and just kind of like her feeling like she was really relating to Beatrix Potter, because she had a cottage, and then so she has a cottage there in Martha's Vineyard. I was like, oh, I kind of want to know what it's like to live there.
I think that was the last one of her memoir series, and like if you're going to read them in order, that's the last installment.
Gotcha.
Martha's Vineyard one.
Yeah. So lots of different options here, and I'm just clicking on the shopping link. I haven't done that yet, so let's just see what she. Oh,
for a while, I know she used to put like puzzles on there.
Thing.
Like she would find things at thrift stores sometimes, and she would like repost them to sell. And she'd do like puzzles and all sorts of different vintage stuff. She'd post on there sometimes too, not just her stuff. So it's a real hodgepodge of things.
Right. So here in her shopping section, looks like there's stickers and note cards, recipe cards, a little watercolor. It says Grandma's Bowl. So lots and lots and lots of different things. Looks like there's a necklace there. Calendars, Beatrix Potter stuff. So lots and lots of stuff. And then here, it looks like we have books. We can see all of her books. They remind me of, there's this series of cookbooks that in the inside they don't have anything like she does, but the covers are very reminiscent of her style. So, anywho, okay. I'm going to stop that and come back over here. Okay. Let's see. I have Martha Vineyard one out from the library now. Just had to peek at it. No time to read it right now. It's chunky. Oh,
it is.
Good to know. Good to know. Thank you.
And as you know, too, they're all really heavy because of the paper quality. So it's really a workout.
Okay, back to our discussion. Was there any place that they visited that you most liked reading about?
I think just for novelty's sake, it would be the ship, even though I was also bored by that. Just because, like I said, I don't think that is one thing I'll ever do, even though it is a bucket list, like for an alternative life when I have a lot of money and I'm married to someone famous who has a lot of money. That's the thing I want to do is that. So in that respect, it was that. But I think the thing that surprised me about the trip the most is that when she got to, oh my gosh, the Cotswolds, like all the town names, I knew all of those names. I didn't know they were all in the Cotswolds. And I didn't also know how close together they were. I thought they were more stretched out and that some of them were not in the Cotswolds, like a couple were in Yorkshire, whatever. But to see that little, like teeny little part of a little hand-drawn map she had was that. And just to read about her time there, I just thought, oh my gosh, I really want to go there. I know it's like Rich People Central, but that made me really, really want to go to the Cotswolds for sure. Like, ugh. Yeah. How about you?
You think I'd have an answer because I make these questions up myself. I feel like all of it was pretty interesting. I feel like all of it is very familiar just because of the amount of British television I watch.
Yeah.
But I think for me, like, I don't know how I didn't know this, and maybe I feel like in like really deep down I probably knew, because obviously how else would they still be standing? But it did not register with me fully the depth of the National Trust.
Oh yeah.
Like, I feel like I had to have known, because obviously none of these places would exist without it. But the depth, I just felt like the amount of places that they were able to visit because of that was just so remarkable. Like, I was really impressed by the country itself. Like, it really made me envious of how important keeping history alive is in other countries. And it was really just saddening, because I just think about our country and how nothing is sacred. It seems like everything just gets bulldozed. So I was really excited, like when they would talk about really obscure people that I've never, heard of. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Like, people leave this in their will to the National Trust so that people can enjoy this for centuries to come. And now I want to know about those people, and I want to learn about them. And so I think that for me was really impactful, and I really enjoyed hearing about that. I really enjoyed reading about the footpaths, because I knew that there are public footpaths. Like, I knew that was a thing, but I didn't realize that you can go all the way across the country.
Oh yeah, right to Rome.
Set off and
everywhere.
It will literally take you everywhere. Like, I didn't realize that. So I thought that, I'm like, oh my God, would that not be an epic trip?
Yeah.
Like, and then I was like, it rains there a lot.
Yeah. Still, it's different kind of rain, isn't it? It's not like rain here, right? It's
still rain.
No, it doesn't bother me. I didn't think too. One thing I never thought of doing was returning to a place you just visited. So when they went to Sissinghurst, I was thrilled because I love Sissinghurst. It's so interesting. And then she talked about missing again, like all the white blooming, and she, oh, we'll just come back. And I was like, oh my God, you can't just come back. Like, sure, you can't come back. That never occurred to me to revisit a place, let alone the same trip, to just keep coming back. And I wish I knew her friends too. She just knows the right people who seem so lovely and wonderful, and all the right places to visit and like have a connection and someplace to stay and help. And I thought, oh man, you're so lucky. You're so lucky.
Well, I mean, we're lucky too. I mean, if you think about it, if we went to England right now, there's a few people that would probably take us in.
That's true. That's true.
So we may, I mean, who knows? Maybe in the next, couple decades, you and I will be able to take a little bestie trip out to some of our favorite places. But yeah, no, there's a lot that I liked. I think the real all-encompassing, whatever the word is, it just felt like home to me. Like, at the end of the book, when she talks about, like, she never really considered herself an Anglophile, and I'm like, I do. And then how she explained it, I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that. But yeah, because it does it. I know it sounds silly because it's like, it's not my home. I'm clearly an American, and I'm not English at all. I'm Irish, so I'm close, but not really. But it just feels very homey and very like idyllic, and it just perfect in some respects. Like, she mentions like the slowness, the difference in time. Like, she is a time traveler when she was coming back, because you leave like this 18th century English countryside and you come into the 21st century New York City. And I think it's very much like that. Like, stuff is slow. Like, every time they walked into a pub, I'm just like, tell me more. I love pubs. Like, anytime I walked into a pub, like, she explained it so perfectly. The smells, the textures, the everything. It's just, it really just felt like home. So it was hard to pick like specific things. It was more like themes that really stuck out to me, for sure. I really didn't think they needed 12 suitcases.
No, oh my God, no. And then I kept thinking, how would you find a car big enough to hold all your crap? As you're going to buy crap too.
Thinking. I'm like, who is lugging all this stuff?
I know.
I didn't get it. I was like, what porter is like, yeah, sure.
This seems reasonable for 2 people.
There's a line of dishes with her name and style. And she wrote The Stable Mouse, A Christmas Story. It looks like a kid's book. Good to know. I'll have to look for that one, because yeah, she is very, very talented. I wasn't sure if maybe not so much like her book, but if she had illustrated others, like as an illustrator.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think she just sticks to her own stuff. Don't quote me, but I think it's mostly her own stuff.
Okay. Let's see here. So for those of us who have traveled or do travel, do you journal when you travel? So do you do anything? I think, Andy, you mentioned that you make little, or what you said something about when you went to Norway, you made like a little scrapbook journal thing. No, I don't, because I feel like I just am terrible at that stuff. But I also tried to journal while I was pregnant the first time, and that, like, I think I did 2 pages, and yeah. I don't know. I'm not, if I have to write something, I really just have to like make myself write it. But I'm not a journaler. Like, I'm not a diary writer or a journal writer. I can't do it. I don't know. But like, this has really like inspired me to do something like this, because I feel like I could doodle and like write a paragraph and then doodle and put a picture. So maybe half of what she wrote. Yeah. But I can't just like straight up write about my whole day. I can't do that. What about you? Like,
yeah, when I was in Europe, I did journal, but it's hard when you're traveling with a group of like 50 other people, because your schedule is so not your own, and you were at the mercy of literally everybody else that you're with. So we'd have sometimes long days on the bus, but I get so sick. Like, there's no way I can look down. I just was like me and my disc man trying to hold it flat, praying to God that it would not skip all the time, 90s. And but I did bring a journal along. I have to think of where it is right now. I could have pulled it out and showed you guys, but I did try at least every other day, if not every day. By the time we got to the hotel and like we checked in and we had dinner as a whole herd of people, I would come back earlier. Like, everyone else would go out to the bars more often than not, because we could drink then, and like we weren't legal to drink in the U.S. yet. We're all like 20. So I would come back earlier and I would journal everything down, and I would try and paste in like ticket stubs or like a receipt from lunch or whatever else. I would try to do that and like do little bits and pieces as I could. But even that, like, people were making fun of me, like, "Oh, you nerdy journaling." Ooh. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm journaling. Like, anyways,
what's wrong with people?
I know. But I also got teased because I cried all the time. I'm a very emotional person, especially when you're singing too. Like, it just makes it so much different. And so I would try and include like a memory from when we were singing, like what I looked at during a certain part of a song, and like how overwhelmed I felt, or like an interaction I had with somebody like at a fruit market or whatever. And so I tried to do that stuff, but it was really hard because again, the pace was so high.
You're not really on your own. You got people all around you. Yeah.
Right. I had my roommate, Sue, who I reconnected with over the weekend. I got to see Sue. I didn't know if she'd be there. It was wonderful to see her. But I am also the kind of person who, if I'm overstimulated for too long, I will get sick. My body will take me down. And I got taken down in Cinque Terre in Italy. We got there, we checked in, and we went. It was like 7 p.m, so it was getting dark. We all like walked down the big hills to the ocean and like walked on the ocean and like everything else. And I came back upstairs. So we all went to our rooms to go to bed. And I didn't leave my bed for 3 days. I slept for 3 solid days. I missed every tour. I missed the concert. I missed everything. I was just asleep. And then at the 3rd day, everyone was concerned because like Doc, our choir director, had checked on me twice. I only remember him checking on me once. Like, I was not conscious the second time he checked on me. They were concerned about what to do with me because I was not awake. Like, I was just sleeping, crash. Like, what are we going to do with her? Can someone stay behind with her? Like, how is she going to get whatever, blah, blah. And then I woke up on the 3rd day and I was functioning enough to take a shower and I felt better. So I missed that whole thing, which really bothers me. But that's what happens when it's like too much go. It was almost 10 weeks of like nonstop. So of course I crashed and burned. How could you not, really? But so I missed some stuff there, but otherwise I really tried to keep up with it. And I tried to like take little moments to myself and tried as much as I could to either have time to myself or just have one other person with me and not like a herd of 10. Mm-hmm. I love everybody so much. I really do. And I'm glad that I have friends and we can do all this stuff, but I'm such an introvert. It was really tough. So I needed those breaks. I needed that time to journal and write it down, get some things out of my head, just because I knew I mean, I'm never going to have a trip like that again where you're just spending all this time traveling all around Europe, all these different countries and stuff, let alone singing all these places. And so I knew I had to like get it down somewhere and get it out. I know we were talking about that this weekend. We had a reunion concert, alumni concert for our conductor, Dr. Ahmet. They established a conducting scholarship at my college for him. So it was all the stuff, talk about Europe again, everything else, and it was really wonderful. And people were talking about how they remember nothing from all the stuff, and I thought I have all this stuff written down somewhere. If you just like, I could have just brought it with me and pass it around. It would have been just fine. Like it would have been really great. But people are like, yeah, I bought leather jacket there. Like that's it. Like that's the memory. Like that's great, but I'd rather know what I was feeling or what we did or what church we were in because I don't remember that, or anyways, it's a whole big huge blab. I apologize, but I really try to, and I try to keep at least some basic notes or like just bullet points, like where we had lunch, where we did this was this, feeling exhausted, but did this instead and whatever else, just to keep track a little bit because otherwise it's just gone.
Yeah.
Just totally gone.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do something more next time I go.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty good about remembering things and taking pictures of certain things. So then when I see the picture, I go, oh yeah. But like I feel like I want it in a book more. And like
to flip through easier somehow.
Yeah, and I'm not going to have this memory forever. Like
right.
I'm going to start forgetting things. So and I think at least for my husband and I, we always because it was a very memorable trip. Like we really did have a very good time. We got engaged and all those kinds of things, but like we often reminisce about the trip because it was so memorable for us. So like the little things we keep them alive by talking about them. So it's nice that we do that a lot because we do really want to go back. But I know there's things that we've already forgotten. Like there's probably moments because we're only remembering a few things at a time.
It's different too because you can talk to someone about it too. And for me, I have to go track someone down, have to find them and be like, "Can we talk about Europe for 5 minutes?" Like,
yeah,
it's not casual.
Well, and when you went to, it's not as if smartphones were a thing. So taking pictures, it was on cameras and.
Yeah, I have fax letters from my roommates that would send me like stuff, and you had like a limit every day of how many faxes people could get because it was so expensive to do internationally. And we had, internet cafes were the thing, so you had to try and find an internet cafe where you had time off from a class or whatever to go to one, and then to like not get ripped off. And it was way different. You're right. All like film cameras, like no digital anything, hardly at all. I mean, yeah. The old days.
I know. I still look back at I went on a spring break trip to Florida one year with a friend, and a lot of those pictures managed to get onto the internet somehow because I downloaded them from my camera. But I just look at those pictures and I go, oh my God, what a terrible quality. Like these pictures are so bad because they're just from a regular, an old digital camera. Back when they came with those little tiny digital cameras. Yeah, there is no taking pictures on your phones yet. So, yeah, oh my goodness. So funny.
I think now I would like to, if I traveled again, I would of course schedule in downtime every single day just for my own sanity, if nothing else. But also because it's so easy to forward your stuff somewhere to print off. I'm sure I could go to a Boots or a corner shop and take photos from my phone and download them and print them off. I could stick them in my journal right away. It would just be done and all done.
That's the other thing that I kind of thought was interesting about how she's writing, because okay, so she's writing this, right? But it's where am I? Okay, it's around the picture. So did she do all this at the same time? Well, I mean that one is because no, that's a picture. So it's did she print the pictures while she was there and put them in? I mean, so I was really confused, unless she just was I'm gonna put a picture here and then wrote around it. it was just like, I was just very impressed. I was like, this is put together quite well.
I think she just took really copious notes and did her own journals and her own sketches for things, and probably like did some page layout, like put a picture here of this.
Yeah.
But I think she did all this stuff fresh, like when she was home for publication. So it was, she could format everything correctly right away.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because she had like rights for
so
stuff
many
too.
ideas. Like, I just really, it's a really good idea for travel because yeah, you forget things so easily.
Yeah.
If you could do as Susan and Joe did, would you?
Hell yeah.
Would you change the plans?
I would not pack 13 suitcases or whatever. Sorry, I burned my skin with old sunscreen on Monday, so this is a chemical burn. I'm trying to cool it off right now because my face hurts. Anyways, I don't think I would change plans too much because they seems to do a nice loop around the bulk of the country, and yeah, I would like to try, like I said, QE2 or was it Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, whatever, the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would like to try that. It seems like a really long time. I don't know how the two of them, with their respective jobs, mostly him, less her because she works for herself, but like how they'd have that much time off, all those weeks together. Be like, yeah, we'll just take off for like 3 months and just go, you know?
Right. I mean,
you own a business.
How long were they gone? So they boarded the ship. Sorry, I'm just trying to find.
No.
I love that she puts in how they met too. Like,
yeah.
I love that was the beginning of it.
That's
I thought that
story.
was so cute. I kind of wanted more of that. I was like, this is so cute.
She talks about that more in one of her other memoirs. About more details and stuff.
Let's see here. Like when she just goes with him to Boston and they don't even know each other. It's like a first date. I was like, I would not be doing that. Would not be doing that.
I know, red flags everywhere.
This was back in, the 80s or something, 90s.
Yeah. Still scary, still not
Small
great.
town. I mean,
yeah,
everyone knew each other. So, I mean, I guess you have that, but holy shit. Okay, May 3rd. So May 3rd is when she leaves. Says May 3rd, said goodbye to everyone, left the island. And then they return like June something, June 7th or June. I remember seeing June 7th and being like, oh. Yeah. Looks like on the bed here somewhere. Oh, June 24th.
Okay.
So 2 full months, really. Close to.
Yeah. As grown adults, just like.
It felt like it was longer than that.
Yeah, I would 100% do this. Absolutely.
But if you think about it, so the ship itself, I think that felt like it was like at least 5 days.
I think it's a full week.
Yeah.
It's 5 days or a full week, yeah.
So there's 2 weeks right there. And then, so then they had like 6 weeks of just traveling. And at some respects, because so when I go on trips like this, like I don't want to just sit and do things like slow. I want to like go to every museum and go to every pub and go to every this, and like I need to be like go 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 go. But I think that mindset right now is because like you have a very finite amount of time. Like we have to get all this done in a week, or we have to get all, like for my last trip, it was like 3 days. We have 3 days to see everything in this country, which really wasn't that. It was see everything in this city. But I mean, I guess if you had 6 weeks to travel, I guess you would slow things down.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? You'd be insane to go at a breakneck pace for 6 weeks. I mean, that's asking for you to like forget everything and have maybe a car accident, because if you're driving, you're not paying attention. Maybe you're just tired. I mean, like getting sick, who knows? I mean,
I think about my Disney wives who come and they're here for 2 weeks and they pound hard every day. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's how I would be like too if I went overseas. And then I think, would I? Because that's a lot. It's a lot of walking. It's a lot of travel. It's a lot. And I just think, like, what kind of car did they get that had 12 suitcases? And when they were coming back, didn't she say it was closer to 14?
Yeah.
I mean, they're lucky they were on a ship, because they aren't going to be putting that on a plane. Yeah, no way. I can't believe all the stuff that they brought. The kettle and all the tea and, like, what?
I'm pretty sure you could find, I know it's different.
All of that.
It's not that long ago, but it is a few years ago. I'm pretty sure you could find lavender Earl Grey somewhere in a large city. Like, it's not the most outrageous tea flavor you could think of, you know. I bring a few bags with you or whatever, bring a little thing of tea, but don't bring, like, you know what I mean? I just thought, you're going to a tea place.
I know, it was kind of funny. I did like the PD, though, the guy that they brought around, because I would totally do something like that. So, I mean, if it was me and I did what they did, I feel like I would probably keep a lot of it the same. But I also feel like I would not be able to go, and my husband would completely disagree. I don't think I could go to England and not go to London. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's, you know, it's London, though. Like, there's so much there that I just feel like there's no way I couldn't pass it up. I'd have to go for at least a day and just take it all in. Like, I couldn't go to England and not go to London. And thinking about their trip too, like, because I've been to the other places, I don't feel like I could go to that country and not go to the other countries. Like, I would have to see all of it. Like, I couldn't just stay in England. I would have to go to Wales. I would have to go to Scotland. I would have to go to Ireland. It's such a beautiful, like, and they're so different from each other, and everything is just so amazing. Like, I could not just stay in one country. I would have to go to them all. Like, that's all I would change. If I was there for that long, I would have spent a week in Ireland, spent a week in Scotland, spent a week in Wales, and then maybe the rest in England if I needed to be there that long. But there's so many great things about each of those countries. And to be perfectly honest, like, Scotland, to at least to me and my husband, we would spend all our time there if we really had to, like, pick. Because, I mean, Edinburgh itself is just gorgeous. And I don't know. I don't think I could just stay in England. I would have to. Like, what, I think there's a porter or someone at the very end. He's like, did you go to Scotland? And they're like, no. And he's like, oh, get off with you. And I was like, yeah, right. You tell him. Because, it's just, there is something about the UK. It's just beautiful. All of it.
I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
For myself.
I kind of hope I go with you.
I know. Everyone's planning to go with me in some respect. Maybe I'll go with myself, and, like, you can each have a week. I could be a
girls trip or friend trip. Woohoo! Okay. That's really all the questions that I had, like, more formal side. I mean, it's a travel memoir, but there's some interesting questions that I saw online. Okay, so kind of thinking about what I just said about, like, I really would need to see all of it. Are there any places, and maybe from the book or maybe not from the book, that are non-negotiable for you if you were to travel there, or when you travel there?
I mean, Scotland is 100% for sure. But a place I would like to go, and it would have to be like a half-day trip or an out-of-the-way thing. Like, I really want to find Alf and Lily's house. So Alf and Lily were, Lily was my grandmother's pen pal for decades and decades and decades. And they live in Yarm in Yorkshire. And Yarm is this teeny little town. I have a little guidebook for it from when my grandmother went there in the 70s. They're long gone. I know they're long gone. They were old when I was a kid, but they visited here a couple of times, and I just adored them. I would love to go around Yarm. If I could find their house, great. If I couldn't, that's fine. I would really like to just see this little town that they lived in and that they called home for their entire marriage. So that's one place I'd like to go for sure. How about you?
Oh, I mean, the non-negotiable is just I have to see it all. Like, I can't just be in one country and not see. I mean, it was hard enough only being in each country for the short amount of time that we were. But like I said, in England, I've only been to London. We didn't do anything outside of London. So it would be nice to see more of it. But I definitely, like, there would be no way I could go to that island and not see everything, you know? Especially Ireland, just because I feel like, because it's part of my heritage. So, like, for me, it just feels very, like, I just have to see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's how I feel about Scotland too. I'm more Scottish, a little bit of English, but more Scottish too. And that's the same thing. Like, there's something about that. I feel that way about Germany too. I mean, I'm mostly German, both because my family. My great grandmother was married 4 times, and every time it was a very German last name. Like, we joke about it all the time. Like, gee, could you guess the heritage of this person? Like, I don't know. Like Bickelhaupt, and I forget them all. They're all like super German. I'd love to go to Germany too, and like just sort of poke around and see where things are from. We know more about that, but there's this weird pull to Scotland I've always had. England was my like first love, of course, but like there's always something about that just feels like, yeah, like something will click in place. I feel like that seems cheesy, but yeah, I really feel that
Scotland
pull.
really, I mean, for my husband and I, like, there was something about Scotland. So it's a real thing. I mean, from all the other places, that Scotland stole our hearts. And for my husband to talk that way, I mean, you know my husband.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about feelings about anything, but Scotland has his heart, man. He talks about going back there like several times a month. Like, it happens a lot. So it's a real thing. I feel like you'll feel it when you see it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andy, we're not ignoring you. There we go. I'm not well enough for travel going 4 hours. See, my parents is now fine. Doesn't set me back. But my sister lives in Rocky Point, Mexico, and I'm not well enough to.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is really a lot.
Long car rides, etc. Would love to see lots of those cool places in England, but no way I could handle it without going backwards. So I'm glad people share books and videos. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the plane ride, yeah, I mean, it's like 8 or 9 hours, but it feels like forever. Like, I don't know how people do the plane ride to Australia, because that's like 16 hours.
Yeah.
And I know you sleep a lot through it, but honestly, like, there's not like real sleeping on a plane. It's difficult, and it's just, yeah, it's hard. It is hard to travel. But I don't know if they still do the ship, the crew, what do they call it? A crossing?
Yeah, they still do
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a viable option I mean, obviously it takes much longer. But if it's something that you do as another part of the trip, like another experience, then it makes more sense. I don't think so. I'm weird about travel too. Like, I don't want to have to drive, like, in another country. That to me is I don't want to do that. I don't want to be part of that. I would need to, like, go somewhere and, like, the travel be figured out for me.
Yeah.
Which when we went, we did. I mean, we had buses and the tube, and if we were in a city, we just walked everywhere and came back. And so, but yeah, I don't want to drive. I don't. I mean,
well, just so you know, here's a book I am going to read soon, Scotland with a Stranger.
Yeah.
I've had this for I don't know how long. She is a single woman in her 40s who's in a women's photography online group, and she found someone who lived in Scotland, and she just hired her to drive her around and be her companion for 2 weeks when she was on vacation. So that's a thing that people do. And
I might have to read that book.
yeah. 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 So you can totally do that.
I'm not being swished and nothing. I hate to be hot and body does not cool right. So those two things alone tracks with me.
I hear you as a not thin gal also. I totally hear you. I have to have a fan with me all the time. Like, yeah.
When we were on our way home, from Ireland, we came in from Ireland to like Chicago, I think it was. Or maybe we came in somewhere on the East Coast, maybe North Carolina or something. So we were on this plane that was supposed to take us home, and we were stuck on the tarmac for 2.5 hours in this plane.
I think I would have gone insane, honestly.
And because they kept like, oh, something with this needs to be fixed, something with this needs to be fixed, and the air conditioning was off. So we were obviously packed in this plane, no air. They were not letting people get up. Because then they're like, nope, you can't get up even to use the restroom. They're like, nope, because when you were in certain stages, you're technically ready to. And it was terrible. And after it was all said and done, they finally got it fixed. And it was like, why are we on a plane that requires mechanical maintenance for 2.5 hours, and you're still gonna let us fly? Like, oh my gosh, I was so sick because of how hot I was that I was literally, my head was between Aaron's legs because I couldn't even bend down in front of myself because obviously you're in a plane. So I had to like bend over on top of him. They gave us these little tiny waters finally, like after an hour and a half. But even that, it was so bad. And there's a woman sitting next to me, and thank God she was kind, because like, I'm sure sitting next to someone who's clearly having issues, that puts you into panic mode too, because you're like, is this lady gonna throw up on me? Yeah. But it was so bad. It was so bad. I've never experienced that before. And we were on little puddle jumpers in the UK, when we went from Scotland to Ireland. We were on this little tiny plane. It was like a half an hour flight. I was like, why are we on a plane? But it's just how it all worked out. And that was fine comparatively. It was, oh my goodness. So, happened to me once in Phoenix Air Force. Oh my God. I had a weird couple next to me. They argued about who would sit next to me. I never wanted to have to play more in my life.
That sounds miserable. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that was probably the worst experience I've ever had on a plane, and that wasn't like anyone being bad. And I know when we were on our way there was a crying baby. So it was like it was like a mid-afternoonish flight, but like I would say, yeah, so I think it was a 3:00 flight. So once it hits where it's like nighttime, they turn the lights down and like it's like sleepy time. Well, this baby, which they were the last ones to board, and the flight attendant would not let them take anything out of the overhead right away, because they came in, they're like, get your stuff up there, done. And the lady wanted to grab bottle, like her bottle or whatever, and they're like, nope, we're done, we're gone. So of course the baby is crying immediately. Cried for probably hours, and then I think it kind of fell asleep at one point, and then in the middle of the nighttime the baby started crying again. And mind you, during this whole thing, not a bother to me. I was like, whatever, a baby's crying, like, not a big deal. But this is what happened in the middle of the night when this baby was crying. The dad was walking up and down the aisle, shushing the baby. So the shushing to me was just grinding on my every nerve.
Yeah.
Like, not the crying, the shushing. Because I was like, why are you like, and I get it, like, as a parent, I can't even imagine how overwhelmed and overstimulated these two were. But like, I was like, please stop shushing. Please stop shushing this baby. It's crying. It's obviously not going to stop crying.
It's not working, so stop it.
Stop the shushing.
Yeah.
He just up and down. So it would get quieter, and then all of a sudden it would get louder, and then it would get quieter, and then it would get louder every time he passed you. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. And luckily, I don't think anybody said anything mean to them. Like, I think everyone was kind of just like, yeah, whatever. I wish I would have said something like, hey, can you stop the shushing? The crying does not bother me. Right. Your shushing does. Because I feel like maybe it would have been a little bit better, because I did not sleep for the rest of that flight. That was, yeah. But that's it. Otherwise, I've had pretty good flights. The best flight was the flight that I had going the first time, because I was in the back of the plane, and when I sat down, I was in the middle seats. So like there's the ends, and then there's the three in the middle. Mm-hmm. And I was on the end of three, and I sat down, and I was like, thank God I have an end seat here, because I did not want to get stuck in the middle of the middle. Mm-hmm. And like, no one else came, and I was like, nice. So like nobody was there. I've never been in such a empty cabin. Like, usually there's every seat is filled. And then randomly, like in the morning, this guy came and sat down on the other end of the end. So not in the middle, but because I put my legs up and slept sideways, which again, you never hear that. But he comes in and sits there, and I'm like, oh, hi. Because he said hi to me, and I said hi back. And then we had this whole conversation. He's like a rep for wrestlers in Las Vegas or something. So he's just like talking all about these like random people he's met, and like really nice guy. I was just like, oh, okay. He must have come and sat there, because he was like, I don't want to sit where I'm sitting, so found an empty seat in the back or something. Yeah. But yeah, very nice conversation. So, but typically flights that I've had have just been like normal. I see a lot of those things online where people just have these horrific flights where people are just terrible to people that have kids, and it's just like, ugh. I know my sister-in-law had trouble with her toddler, because I guess she was crying a lot or something last time, and the flight attendant came up to her and was like, you really need to quiet your child or something, because a lot of people are complaining or something. And I was just like, I didn't know like that was a thing. Like, how how else like, how do you want me to like smother her? Like, I don't. Yeah, I was pretty perturbed hearing that, like, as a third party. Like, why do people think like, oh, because you said it's bothering you, that now I can get her to shut up? Like, it's not how kids work. They just do what they do, unfortunately. Like, and you just have to get it. And for all of the people, I know I'm like going on a tangent right now. For all of the people that say then don't travel with kids, I just want to be like, why don't you go dig yourself a hole? Because honestly, like, I get your point. I get it. Like, you want to travel in peace, and you want to travel without all the sounds of like the real world. But guess what? Sometimes people have to travel. And my sister-in-law isn't traveling for leisure. She's traveling because her husband's in the army, and she has to come back to the United States. How else do you want them to come back? Do you want them to teleport? Do you have some fancy device that they can just walk through and appear? Like, people have to travel. Same with people in restaurants. Like, oh, so this family can't bring their kids because their kids are loud? Like, oh, it just makes me so mad. Anywho, I'm gonna get off that tangent. It's not the space for it. Oh, I'm sorry, Andy. I love it when there is space, or at least I know all the people I'm switched with. Yeah. Yeah, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. Yeah, let me twitch my nose. Exactly. Flu powder. That's what we need. That's what we need. Yeah, so I try to be, yes, it stinks when kids are crying or whatever, but guess who's having a rougher time? That parent. Let me tell you, they're having a rougher time, because they're having the anxiety of everyone around them, and the fact that their child just cannot cope with the pressures and the heat or the small space or whatever. So have a little empathy. Anywho, anything else we wanted to discuss about travel or our book or any other books that we're reading this month?
No, I gotta get back into reading. It's been a couple of weeks, and I feel like it now, but I just keep falling asleep. So I'm not doing great on the reading front. But tomorrow I have the day off, and all I'm doing is cleaning my house and doing laundry and like just house stuff. So I'm hopeful that between laundry loads, at least, I can read something and maybe finish something else this month, because I did really well until like the 10th, and then it's just been like nothing ever since then. So we'll see.
Get an audiobook going. Get that.
I know.
Get those headphones on.
I know. I just
pump the jam.
I put it on and I just start doing other stuff, and I'm not concentrating on the book. I'm concentrating on my brain, what I'm thinking about, or did I do this thing, whatever. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's been 8 minutes. Crap, I missed a whole bunch of crap. Where did I go? I don't know. I'll figure it out later, and then I just never go back to it.
I take the kids for a walk every day. It's like a 2.5 mile walk. And I think I'm being real productive by listening to Way of Kings. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be able to get this. Yeah, you know how much I can get read in the amount of time that I go? 3%.
Yeah.
3. And I have it on 2.15 speed. And it's only 3%. That book is 46 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and I read it at double speed. So it's going to be like long. 20 some hours long, 25 hours long. What am I getting myself into? And the funny thing is I've already read like 400 pages of this book. Like however many years ago that was, 5 years ago. And I'm listening to it now, and I'm like, some of this is familiar, but a lot of it I don't remember. And I'm glad I'm listening to this now. But then I also think, I'm like, why am I listening to this? Am I going to read the rest of them? Why do I feel like this was a homework assignment that I didn't do and that I have to finish? Like, I just have to do it to be like, okay, I did it. I'm done. And move on. Because I just can't imagine. But then there's certain things that I'm hearing in this book that obviously I've read before, but it didn't sink in far enough, that I'm like, oh, that's probably what that one book that's going to come later is going to be about. Oh, that's what that title probably is referring to. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh my gosh, why am I reading this book? I'm glad I'm listening to it, though. I was falling asleep like crazy, figured out my blood pressure normally crazy high despite 3.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly high, so I was over-medicating and sleeping from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real problem for so many people, like that medication shift.
BP cardiac and that came back to me. Yeah.
Ugh. Good luck. Yeah, I've heard of it happening quite a few times. It happens to a lot of my clients too. If they change their diet just enough, or they walk just a little bit more, it's like an extra half a mile or something. It's not anything where you could even think twice about for most people, and it affects their blood pressure so much that they keep like over medicating themselves and like falling over or passing out. Like, it happens a lot. It's really crazy.
Well, and our cardiologist always asks about my daughter's sleep. They'll always say, is she sleeping more than usual? And I'm guessing that's probably why they're asking.
Yeah.
Is because of those issues, the potential of those issues.
Yeah, BP's a big deal.
Yeah. So.
It sucks, Andy.
And to watch for, I guess, if you're noticing a little bit more, then definitely paying attention. But okay, well, we're kind of come to the end, and we went off on tangents, and we had a lot of fun. Thank you again, Laura. Like I said, and I think Andy mentioned this too. Like, would never have picked this up otherwise, and just had a very nice time reading this. Yeah. Definitely going to be looking to more of her work.
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys liked it. I was a little nervous because it is so different, and it is a travel memoir with not really a plot. You're just with someone on their vacation, essentially, and I don't know. I just thought she's so enjoyable, and I really wanted someone else to read her and get her out a little bit more because I enjoy her stuff so much. It's so unique, you know? So I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see if there's any other authors that do similar kind of.
Yes, there is. Vivian Swift is another one.
Okay.
She's only got, I think, 3 books. One of them is about gardening, Gardens of Folly, I want to say, and then she has another one about traveling. I think actually she goes to England, and that one too. It's been a few years. That one is like not all wanderers are lost, something like that.
Okay.
She also has a very nice website too, Vivian Swift, but I haven't seen her with something new in a while. So that's another person that does similar things.
When wanderers cease to roam.
There we go. Someone with wanderers. That's all I knew.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna add it. Oh yeah, it looks like exactly like the same kind of
they're
print.
similar. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put that in there. I know, reading this one, I was in here like several times, like, oh, want to read this, want to read that. For some of the books and people that she mentions. I'm like, oh, I want to learn more about that. So
yeah,
I like that when books do that. I like when they mention works, like even when you read a novel and it like has mention of other real world works.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting. We'll read that.
Mm-hmm.
So, most of the time, I'm familiar with whatever they're talking about, but yeah. So, anywho, thanks a lot for the great suggestion, and
Thank you. Thanks, Andy.
Again, happy birthday.
Thanks.
You had a nice birthday.
Yeah, it was a nice pajama, do nothing, watch TV, take a nap kind of day. Favorite kind of way to spend a birthday, or any day, really, honestly. That's an ideal day for me. No responsibilities, stay at home, pajamas, do what I want on my own schedule. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just realized this whole time we had our reading sprint ticker going the whole time. I was wondering why our names were so high. It's because I had the ticker on the whole time. So I apologize.
That's for next week.
Oh my goodness. Anywho, on that note, I think it's time for bed.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you're watching this in replay, please feel free to comment below. We always love to hear what you thought. And for next month, again, we are reading Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir.
Mm-hmm.
Tamsin Muir, yep. So that will begin in the month of June. Our reading sprints will be next week, Tuesday, which is, I believe, the 3rd.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 3rd.
Which,
Sunday 1st. Mm-hmm.
I just am thinking I might not be able to do that. So I believe that I have a doctor's appointment that day that I don't know if it will, I might end up having to stay. So hold that thought, and we may have to move that. I'll have to check the calendar. But anywho, next month is Gideon the Ninth. And yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.